going to do a little adventure and then we can chat.
Once again.
Looking cool? Okay, that's a bit better. Good morning. Beautiful weather in Sydney at the moment. Crisp, clear, dry. So quite a few things planned today, a little few bits of admin. Firstly, thanks for the feedback after I got a little bit sooky the other day. People dissing the NRS. And most people seemingly pretty much in agreement. Like I said before, it's like, look, you can't deny the fact there just aren't as many races as there used to be, and that does suck. And I'm not here trying to defend that. Dan and Danny put up a really cool blog post yesterday. Kind of gives a little bit more of an insight into this argument. I don't know if this is like a non-issue. It just shitted me having this conversation and trying to defend the NRS with people who aren't doing it. I think that's kind of where this rant came from. Well, that is where this rant came from. And today we're going to talk rubber. Not that long ago I would have probably giggled at that comment, but then I would have giggled. Anyway, we're going to talk rubber. We're going to talk specifically about these new Pirelli tyres that I'm running. Got a pretty good idea about them now, so I'll have a bit of a play with that. And today's Wednesday, and as you know, as you follow along, Wednesday is Dada Day. It's the day that I actually get a chance to... So Mum and Dad look after the girls. Specific work I have to do normally on Wednesdays, which means... Okay, we're going to talk primarily... We're going to do a review. Review for a while, have we? Before I start, 3 things. Number 1, we paid for this bike. I think it's like the biggest video I have is the review on this bike. It's kind of one of the worst ones I did. Gone for an extra small review time. Now, I'm going to do this. Wait for the train to go past. Usually, how long is this train? Primarily, this will be about the Pirelli tyres. I'll compare them to the other sets that I've ridden over the last year. 500 Ks in, couple of races. Pretty good gathering of where we are with them. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the Pirelli P0 VELO tyres. Let's start with first impressions. When I picked them up the other day, first impressions, light tyre. They feel light. Purely aesthetically, the tread looks a little bit like a Continental, that type of arrow-shaped thing. This may not seem important to most people, but ease of installation, my God, some tyres. I would put them halfway between Vittoria Corsa on one end, being so easy, and the Michelin Powers, which basically required me to take them to a bike shop to put on. I think this is important because you will flat, you want it to be able to come off, but not so easily it just falls off. Another impression straight off the bat, felt like quite a sticky compound, which, I'll be honest, felt quite reassuring. Okay, moving on to dimensions. I'm running 25s here. As we all know, no two 25s are made the same. So my rough measurement had it as slightly bigger than a 25. Not much, nowhere near as big as the Michelins. They claimed to be 25 but were huge, and I had the opposite experience with the Schwabels. So all in all, on these head Ardennes rims, they bed really well, quite evenly, quite balanced, not ballooning, not undersized, quite nice. I don't think cars know I'm doing a tyre review. So performance, the thing you're all kind of interested in, right? Initial impressions, pretty good. The sound of the rolling is lovely. It was one of the things that I noticed with the Vittorias. The sound of their rolling didn't inspire speed, but for some reason these do. I do like that kind of like howling, or they are lovely from that perspective. Let's talk about cornering. Really, so I rode these at Heffron, and I think you'd probably agree, you can't get many worse road surfaces to race bikes on. I'll be honest, I've actually never felt as comfortable going through corners as I did last week. Maybe a little bit due to the fact coming off that NRS crit where things were chaotic, wet roads, the rest of it. Heffron wasn't. For me, I felt really confident. I've had very limited wet weather experience on them so far. To be honest, they're not great in the wet, but what clincher tyre is amazing in the wet. I didn't fall over and I didn't flat, so that's just riding in the city. I must say, I really do like the compound. I'm on a pretty rough road surface here just in Akuna Bay. Those of you that ride this know it's not a pleasant experience. The tyres are doing a great job. I just dropped something there. They're doing a great job soaking the bumps up. Obviously that ability to run the lower tyre pressure on the 25s makes a massive difference with that. That's probably the feature that I like the most so far. Feel of the tyre is pretty supple. You know, when you're talking about this sort of level of tyre, they're all pretty damn good, right? It's the little things, and that's the one thing that I picked out from these tyres that certainly are different. Suppleness. Hang on 2 seconds. We interrupt this tyre review with an announcement from...
Hello. Unbuckled.
Pirelli Z1, or whatever they're called, don't make VO2s any easier. You got anything to say? No. Yeah. See you, boss. Seriously? What the hell is that? Just give us a minute. Okay, I was gonna sign off and talk about the tyres, but I think we might be doing that at home. No, I don't trust it. It's not going to stop for long. We'll get home and chat to you there.
Once again.
Look, a really nice tyre. I think the most noticeable thing for me so far has been that kind of suppleness. Suppleness. A quick timeline in the history of Chris's tyre life. I was a GP 4000 man for a long time until had a little crash in the wet on them, ditched them. Went to the Schwabel ones, loved them. Probably my favourite tyre, giving away a little bit here, but probably overall my favourite tyre to date. Was then caught up in the kind of, I don't know if this has happened everywhere else, but like when the Vittoria Corsa tyres were released, it was like this huge, oh my god, these things are going to change cycling. So I got caught up in that, put a set on, regretted it immediately, was going through inner tubes like it was going out of style. I don't know whether it was necessarily just Sydney or what the story was, but the glass just ripped those tyres to shreds. Where did I go from there? I went to the Michelin Powers, right? Again, kind of got caught up a little bit in that marketing thing that these were going to, make me suddenly the fastest rider in the peloton. Turns out they don't. And they also stop you because you get a bucket load of punctures. I also didn't really particularly like the feel of them on the road, and as I mentioned to you before, putting those things on a bike, are you mad? It was borderline impossible. Enter these things. I will say the marketing and kind of hype around these has been next level. Not quite as bad as the Vittorias. Look, if you blindfolded me, put the different sets of tyres on, I probably, well no, I'd crash because I was blindfolded, but assuming I didn't crash, which I would have, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're all damn good. Oh, one thing I forgot. Aesthetically, these, pretty crap. Come on. A graphic designer, someone, please. It honestly looks like they went, okay, scroll down through the fonts and find something that's not Arial or New Times Roman. Oh, here's something, let's just use that. Don't think a huge amount. Is that a big issue for tyres? Probably not. Is it a big issue for me? What things look like? Yeah. How was that for my first tyre review? I'm going to get 1,000 flats now, aren't I? The way date night works now,
before we head over to pick the kids up from my mum and dad's, we have sushi. Right, before we go, I was gonna try and say something. Oh yeah, quick shout out to Brian, who we ran into today on the bike. Really cool, came up and chatted to us. Had a few people like just shout Chris or something like come over and chat and tell us what you do like about the vlog. So that's a thing that you should do. I really didn't think about this, did I?
No. Always happy to have people come over to me and give me some feedback on the vlog so we can continuously improve.
What she said.
Yeah, turn off that damn camera.
Yeah, I'm taking. No, bye-bye. Coffee Ride Friday is on. I knew I forgot something. Coffee Ride Friday is on. Right, bye-bye.